Hello guys and welcome back. In this video I'm gonna show you how this Boxfight Zonewars mechanic works and how you can adjust some settings. Depends what you need for your island. And the first thing, we have a pre-game area here and I'm gonna show you how it works. So I did make some billboards around the island so you can see what happens, what you can adjust and how you can adjust. So for the first thing, when the player spawns in this spawner, on player spawn, send to event to these two triggers. So basically on every spawn, player send event to these two triggers, trigger 3 and trigger 4. The trigger 3, basically all triggers on the bottom are for box fight. All these triggers will be enabled on the round start if box fight round starting, and all the triggers on the top will be enabled only if Zone Wars round start. I'm gonna show you here settings for round start. So here is box fight. So this is the first round. First round it's box fight. The round 1, the round 2 is Zone Wars. I did change the name here. So on round start, enable all the triggers which are for Zone Wars. They are on the, I think they are on the top. Zone Wars triggers are on the top and box fight trigger on the bottom. Okay, so the next round settings: round 1, round 2, round 3, round 5, round 4, and so on. Here's a box fight round 29, and here is a Zone Wars round 30. In order to make more rounds, you can just copy this trigger and add 2. So basically this is at round 30, this will be 31, this is 32, you can just add plus 2, as you can see here. Just copy, paste and add 2, and you will notice here on the round start we have still these triggers in there. You're gonna also need to change total rounds here. If you're gonna make for example 50 rounds, you're gonna need to set to 50 rounds as well, but for now I did set to 30 rounds. Okay, the next thing, on the round start, these two triggers on the box fight rounds, this trigger box fight will be triggered with 6-second delay and will trigger the voting timer. As you can see, trigger box fight, and this trigger is then for Zone Wars and has the same settings for 6 seconds delay. Here you can just hot message on the every round. For example, hot Zone Wars start, you can make a, I'm gonna show you here, for a box fight, I did just create, no, this is Zone Wars. I just create a HUD for a boxfight round starting. It's just an example. To do this, you just need to drag and drop canvas panel into the scene, and then you can add image and text, as you can see, and you can adjust text here, boxfight round starting, and as you can see. So you can adjust this here. Just save this, compile, save. This is for a round start. I also have create this for any map for Zonewars, but I'm gonna show this later. So this will be enabled. Right. This will be enabled for 5 seconds on round start. You're gonna see this message, or if you wanna put the loading screen or anything, you can put this for a box fight here, for Zonewars here, and for box fight here. Okay, the next thing, when this is finished, the player teleport into this area. For example, Zonewars trigger 3. On trigger, there is a 3-second delay. Teleporter 5. Teleporter 5 is probably, oh, it's this one. Okay, I got luck. Okay, as you can see, teleport off when trigger 3 is triggered. Okay, and here the players can vote for a loadout. There is a voting system here. Here, as you can see, it's just an item placer. You can adjust this however you want. You can set this to model or icon. For example, icon, it's just an icon, and model. And you can add more of this and just drag and drop items in there. Okay, there is a voting system. In order to create your custom loadout, you're gonna just go to this button here and clear items. This will clear all items in there, but will leave the settings. Okay, that's it. And yeah, you're gonna just drop weapons, consumables and resources in this granter. There is a just HUD message for example, if vote 1 wins, this will be displayed for players in this area. Score manager. The important thing here are a maximum score and cent event scoring. If you want to have 16 players, you're gonna need change this in a example. There is a tele vote. Select all of the vote and adjust this setting. Maximum score, for example, if you want to have 4 players, you're gonna make maximum score and cent event scoring to 4. If you want to make 16 players, you're gonna make 16, and I'm gonna just leave at 8 at this. And you also need to change the values here to 8 players, max players. The next thing what I want to show you, if you want to add more voting options, can make it here. So for now there is a 5 voting options, there is a 5 triggers, there is a 5 buttons, 5 switches, and if you want to change, for example you want to have 8 options, you're gonna need adjust this. The value limit, it depends how many triggers we have in there, and basically how many options, how many voting options do we have. So now I'm gonna leave for 5. Okay, as you can see, as you saw in gameplay, if no one vote, the random number generator will randomly vote, pick one of these trigger and then make a loadout for players. And for example, if these have 2 votes and these have 2 votes and this 1 or anything, if these 2 are the 2 votes and 2 votes, the random number generator will be pick between these and these, because these are the most voted guns, and will be also randomly picked one of these. Okay, the next thing, player references are only for a teleporting system. As you can see, when the player teleport to this area, will be registered, for example this one, and it will be activated on attribute trigger pass, as you can see. Okay, wait a second. Okay, this will trigger, this will activate all the references. All the references, and also enable. Okay. Attribute trigger is triggered on item grant chosen loadout and teleport players to boxfight area with 5 seconds delay, as you can see here. So the next thing, the player gets loadout, and with a 5-second delay they will teleport to boxfight area. Here you can adjust a vote timer. You can adjust this if you want to have 10 seconds, if you want to have 20 seconds. This can you adjust in there. So I'm gonna leave for 15 seconds for now. And the next thing, the player get items, they get weapons here, and with some delay they will teleport to this area. So here the first thing I want to show you is when the players come entering this zone, switch, change player to class 2. So as we said before, the class 2 is a combat class for a box fight, and is basically just disable show minimap, but you can adjust this if you want to basically, well, I don't know, show health, you can make this to no, but for now I'm gonna leave at this. The next thing, okay, teleporter. So when the player teleport to this teleporter, for example 50, teleporter 50, on teleported, this will activate random number generator. There is a random number generator for each player. There are 16. So, oh, there is a teleporter 50, and this will start. When the player teleport, this will start, and will pick one of these trigger, and there are basically power-ups for box fight. So I did add some power-ups here, as you can see. Flying. If this trigger is picked, there is a 1 second delay. This will change player to class 4. There is a hot message device, as you can see. Flying, double jump, and this will be permanent show to players on the bottom. I think it's on the bottom, custom bottom center. Here you can also adjust where this message will appear, and you can also add images or what you want to do. So here is just a class selector 4, and here I did adjust. This player has also instant reload, infinity buildings material, and player flight is on. So this is the power of 1, and health and shield regeneration is this one. There also player switch to class 6. And has one max shield 125 and max shield 125. So this will be instantly reloaded. Here is a damage device. I set this to 2 damage multiplier. There is a down but not out. If player pick this, it has basically a second life. There's a super speed. You can adjust this as you want. As you can see. The next thing is a mythic loadout. So here you can also clear the items and add your own items in there. The next is a rift. The triggered player become this signal remote, and in the settings on primary activation and secondary, player will teleport to this. There are 2 rifts in there. You can see on the middle there is this one, and you can adjust and drag this on this area if you want. And here is a secondary. I'm gonna put this to the middle. So when player activate, will be teleported to this area or this area, depends on primary and secondary activation. And double pump, player receive double pump, and this is basically 3, 6, 8 power ups. So very basic power ups for the box fight. the trigger here, this is only for, as you can see here, box yourself, barriers drops, and this will also started on attribute trigger box fight on pass. When the players teleported, this trigger started, and when the trigger success, disable all barriers here. So I'm gonna show you. Disable on trigger timer device box fight on success, and this timer activate also this basic storm. There are the settings, wait time. Here you can adjust resize time and wait time, also damage. As you can see here, initial radius is 25 meters. You can adjust this if you have bigger. If you have bigger box fight, you can adjust this, and there is a starting storm. But for this, I'm gonna leave this as 25 meters. And storm is moving to this beacon here, basically on the middle of the map. Okay. Let's go to the second round. In there, it's basically happened the same thing as for box fight, but for Zonewars, these triggers on the top will be triggered, and then the player teleported to this area. And yes, here can players also vote for maps. If you have more maps, here are just 3 examples. For example, the teleporters here. If the map 1 is chosen, this one is the first one map, this is map 2, and this is map 3. If this map is voted, all the players teleported to this first map, and here just the item grander to grant all the players building resources, and here just hot. Map 1 wins, map 2, map 3, and here I'm gonna show you map 1 loading. So here you can adjust your loading screen. For example, I'm gonna show you this here. So for the map 1 is this one, widget map 1, map 1 loading, and also for map 2 and 3. It's basically the same image, but I just changed the text here. So this is about this. As you can see, here is 3 voting options. We have 3 voting options here. I'm gonna show you this here. 3 voting options, and we have 3 triggers here, and here we have value limit to set to 3 because we have 3 options, 1, 2 and 3. As you can, there's a vote 1 trigger, vote 2 trigger, and also here you need to change a maximum score and send the random score, so depends how many players you have in here. It's just same as this one. Okay, now if the map 1 is picked, players teleport to this area. There's a to this area and here. So depends what you want to do. Is a if you want to when players teleported here, if you want to give them weapons like this with item spawners, you can make this like this. I did make a random spawns for each of these one, and the same what you need to do basically. I'm gonna copy one, I'm gonna clear items, this will clear the items, and you can just then add the items to here. For example, here the first are the shotguns, SMG IR, and so on. What you need to do here, you're gonna need to copy and paste all of this and copy for each teleporter, and then you're gonna select all of this, and if you want the player which spawn in this area, you want to player spawn here and can pick these items here which are randomly generated. So the next thing what I want to show you, if you saw the gameplay, you can see there's only one, so you need to select all and copy, and then move these teleporters. For example, if you want this player teleport here, you're gonna make this here, and you're gonna add this item spawners in there, so players can pick and start fighting. For the second options, I'm gonna show you here. There is maybe better options if you want to grant items. So item granter randomly generate loadout when player entering the zone to make zone so big that cover entire island. This is example from map 2. So there is a randomly generated item granter. Here are all the settings. Did I change? I did put here. I'm gonna show you in this one. For example, this item granter is for shotguns, and as you can see, there is a 21 items in there. So you can basically put creative weapons, shotguns. You can basically put all these shotguns in there in one item granter, and this will be randomly picked up when the player enter this zone. On player entering zone, cycle to random item on this item granter. Item granter 32 to 36. Here, these are these item granters here. 33, 35, 36. 37. Wait, is there 37? Oh, it's 37. It's 33 to 37. Make sure to make this zone so big as your island here. For example, I'm gonna show you this for this island. You're gonna just copy and paste in here. I did it already. Make sure to make big enough. For example, if you make 10, only players which comes to this area will get the guns. So we want to make like 30 for this example. So as you can see, the green cube is basically this area, and when the player when the vote 3, there is a map 3. When this map win, the players are teleported to these teleporters and will receive random items. The next is the storm. As you can see, every map, every island here has a storm. This will be generated on attribute trigger on pass. There are 3 attribute triggers here. Attribute trigger map 1, map 2, map 3. And you can see this trigger activate player reference and also generate storm. So if you want to more some delay, storm delay, you can adjust this in these settings. Delay time, for example, you can make 1 minute delay, but I'm gonna just leave 5 seconds. The next thing, bound radius. So this storm is randomly generated, and for this we need to have bound radius. Bound radius is this red line here. So there is a basically bound, and for this island you're gonna need to adjust this. Maybe if you have small island, I'm gonna make this to 40 bound radius. As you can see, the red line is in there, and this you need to adjust for your island how you need. So this is a bound radius. This also means that this storm from a phase 2, phase 3 and so on doesn't leave this red area. They stay in there. As you can see here, movement is moved randomly, and move to beacon is something else. For example, move to beacon will be here. So when this zone, this is a phase 2, when this started, it moved to beacon. But to make randomly, I just set to move randomly. This is why we need to set the bound radius. As you can see here, set the radius of the bounding sphere. This is a red line. The storm will not leave the bounding sphere. So the next thing here, you can set storm radius, phase, and wait time. You can make, for example, 5 seconds wait time, and reset time. Damage level, I prefer 1%. And here you can see 2% and so on. You can go up 5%. You can make here here 7%, here also 7, maybe 7, or here 10. So this is a last storm, the phase 6, and storm radius should be 0 in order to get all players are in storm. Okay, the next thing, I think this is pretty much it for this adjustment. Yes.